Only two jockeys have won the Kentucky Derby 5 times, Eddie Arcaro and Bill Hartack. But if Bill Shoemaker, in his 25th attempt, can make it 2 in a row and win today, he'll join that elite company. Jack Whitaker with the story.
This courtly gentleman is one of this country's best athletes. Along with Sam Snead and almost any NBA star, William Shoemaker will be near the top of any list of America's sporting greats. He came out of Texas to be the natural descendant to Eddie Arcaro and Johnny Longden. Now at the mellow age of 55, he is bigger than ever. His Derby successes began way back in 1955, the same year Jackie Robinson led the Brooklyn Dodgers to a World Series victory over the hated Yankees. The Shoe won aboard the California Colt Swaps that year. He captured the Roses again in 1959, and again yet in 1965 on Lucky Debonair. 21 years later, in 1986, he crashed the winner's circle again for the 4th time on Ferdinand.
Coming out of the gate, he got pinched into the fence, and so I got pinched back and shuffled all the way back to last. And I said, oh, now what am I going to do? I said, well, I just might as well take my time, and gradually picked him up, and if he can get there, fine. If he can't, there's not much we can do about it. But in hindsight, that's probably the best thing that happened to me, because the pace was very fast that day, and when I got back last, he relaxed, and I was able to get through that big field and never had to check him another time.
But you still only have that split second to make the decision whether to go for that hole or not, don't you?
No, that's true, and one of the reasons when I moved to about the quarter pole, I was about 3 lengths off of the lead, and I knew I had a chance to win then because he was running good, and the leaders were kind of coming back to him. And there were about 4 horses head and head, and I was right behind them, and I could have went around and probably would have been okay, but in California, when he got on the outside with the crowd roaring, he used to put his ears up and not try too well. So I decided, well, I'm going to take a chance and hope I can find a little hole and go through on the inside, and he'll finish better. And luckily for me, it opened up as I got there, and I was able to duck through there.
Now on the brink of his 25th Derby, he jests at age and scars that have known many wounds, a broken leg and broken pelvis, among others. But there are no regrets, except perhaps what happened on that chilly day in May 30 years ago.
Well, Bill, this horse is 33 years old, which by human standards makes him well over 100. He was your mount in 1957, Gallant Man. Now that morning, General Duke, who was the favorite, was scratched. Did you think you two had a good chance?
Oh, I thought he had a great chance, and I'm sure he did too. I hope he doesn't remember what happened that day.
Well, there's the horse's mouth, but it won't say anything, will it, huh? Okay, you tell us what happened.
I think he's telling me off right now.
Did he really stand up and stop you from winning, huh? What happened, Bill?
Well, I misjudged the finish line. It was 1/16 of a mile from the finish line where I thought it was, and where it usually is on most tracks. But at Churchill Downs, it's a 1/16 of a mile closer to the first turn, and I misjudged it, and he didn't. So I made the mistake that day. He pretty should have been the Derby winner. Just want to apologize for making a mistake, pal. You should have been the Derby winner, and the Preakness and the Belmont. He probably should have won the Triple Crown.
Probably is correct. Shoe was suspended for that ride in the Derby, but with the backing of owner Ralph Lowe, he and Gallant Man returned to win the Belmont, setting a record that stood until Secretariat broke. But the sweet memories remain.
All the Derbies that you win are good races to remember, but I think the last one I rode was the race that I'll always remember the most, because it had been 21 years in between my Derby victories, and I never thought I'd ever have a chance to win another Derby after 1965, and lo and behold, here it happened. So that one's got to be the best one that I remember.
The dappled road of Shoemaker's career has had far more sunshine than shadows, and in a sport where everyone loses many more times than they win, that is remarkable. But then, Bill Shoemaker is remarkable. And that remarkable man, Mr. Shoemaker, is on Gulch.